Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargal. On the News Mongolia today, sentencing policies for drug-related crimes in Mongolia will be tightened. Mongolian opera promotes cultural exchange during the Mongolia-Italy diplomatic anniversary. For the news, stay tuned. In an effort to reduce drug-related crimes, Mongolia has drafted amendments to the law on the control of the circulation of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. The amendments clearly define drug-related offenses and include stricter sentencing policies to ensure harsher penalties for such crimes. The law on the control of the circulation of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances was enacted 23 years ago. Between 2002 and 2008, an average of 7 to 8 drug-related crimes were recorded annually. However, since 2018, that number has sharply increased to over 220 cases per year. As a result, revising and improving the existing law has been deemed necessary. Drug-related crimes involving narcotic and psychotropic substances have increased significantly. The majority of inmates at detention center number 461 are serving sentences for drug-related offenses. Under the current criminal code, the illegal use of narcotics and psychotropic substances involving cross-border trafficking is punishable by imprisonment for a term of 5 to 12 years. The proposed amendments stipulate that smuggling such substances across the state border will be considered a criminal offense, regardless of whether they were used, and the same penalty of 5 to 12 years imprisonment will apply. If the offense is committed in a recurring or organized manner, involves the coercion or involvement of a minor, or is carried out through the abuse of power, the sentence may be increased to 12 to 20 years. In cases where a child is induced into drug use, the penalty ranges from 2 to 8 years of imprisonment. If the child victim dies as a result, the offender may face 12 to 20 years or a life sentence. Under the current regulation, cases where a child victim's health suffers and cases where the victim dies are subject to the same penalty. The new amendments address this issue by introducing a more detailed and stricter classification, distinguishing between different levels of harm, such as drug intoxication and death, and assigning harsher, clearly defined penalties for each case. According to information from the police, over 90% of all drug-related crimes are committed by individuals aged between 13 and 35. As a result, the amendments include provisions to strengthen the capacity of law enforcement agencies involved in combating drug offenses and establish treatment centers for users and those suffering from addiction in line with international standards.
From a treatment strategy perspective, post-treatment programs are extremely important when it comes to treating individuals with substance abuse disorders. We are working to study and adapt the practices of highly developed countries. Within the framework of the Healthy Mongolia initiative launched by the President, we have jointly established the first model mental health rehabilitation center in Hangul district. In the future, similar centers will be set up in other districts and in rural areas. In Thailand, individuals who have been overcome drug addiction often work at rehabilitation centers on a daily basis and help bring in others who are still using drugs to join treatment programs. Aside from medical services, these centers also involve a wide range of staff, including many volunteers who actively contribute to the recovery process.
This means that Mongolia will soon have its own national list of narcotics and psychotropic substances. This is because, under the current conditions, if someone uses a substance not included in international conventions, there is no legal basis for holding them accountable. The current version of the law on the control of the circulation of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances consists of 4 chapters and 18 articles. The proposed amendments will expand it to 10 chapters and 78 articles, along with proposed amendments to more than 20 related laws. The amendments are scheduled to be submitted during the fall parliamentary session. A special cultural collaboration took place in Rome to celebrate the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Italy. The new Opera Dimensions Cultural Association, founded by Mongolian opera singer and vocal coach Ayana Sambo-Zandra, promotes Mongolian culture in Italy by engaging young Italian artists, singers, artisans, and designers. A highlight anniversary event was the Business Forum and the Women's Awards Gala, held at venues such as Sala Baldini, the Theatre of Merciless, and the Terrazza Caffarelli of the Capitoline Museums. Ayana Sambo performed Italian opera classics such as Casta Diva and Turandot, uniquely incorporating Mongolian throat singing and the horsehead fiddle in an arrangement by Dmitry Tagan, performed by Batu Batolak.
All this wonderful collaboration have demonstrated that our Mongolian culture is very accepted and welcome in Italy, and I'm very happy that Mongolian students from Florence have come especially for our forum to give us the hand in organizations, as well as being the models of the Kashmir collections and presenting our Mongolia here in Italy. And that's, I think, this wonderful collaboration between young generations, between different sectors, artistic sectors, sectors of fashion, cinematography, and art, classical music, opera music. All this gives the great hopes and I think the ambitions to continue to develop our relations here in Italy and Mongolia.
Sono Marcella Crudeli.
I performed over 3,000 concerts worldwide and taught at prestigious schools in Paris and Rome. It was an honor to join this event at Ayana's invitation. Although Italy and Mongolia are far apart geographically, we all share a strong commitment to supporting young talent. Music transcends differences and unites people globally.
I'd be happy to perform the Queen of the Night and the Doors aria at the event dedicated to the 55th year anniversary of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Italy. I'm very happy to represent my country at this wonderful event. Actually, I'm really fascinated by the culture of whole countries, and thanks to Ayana Sambu, I'm starting to know better the amazing Mongolian culture and history.
International artists enrich the gala with their talent, creating a unique blend of Eastern and Western traditions. Representatives from cultural organizations and the European diplomatic community attended, highlighting Mongolia's growing cultural diplomacy and its role in fostering cross-cultural understanding.
This project connects two great cultures, Italian and Mongolian, both vital to human history. Our students are learning about Mongolia's rich past and modern identity, beyond Marco Polo's legacy and Chinggis Khan. We are exploring Mongolia's broader impact on world history. Such projects encourage cultural exchange and valuable learning.
For textile and fashion design students, understanding other nations' textile history is essential. This project has been a valuable learning experience, exposing our students and faculty to Mongolia's unique culture and craft traditions. This collaboration is important for our school. It brings external cultural influences to students, helping them connect with the wider world and express creativity. Drawing inspiration from Mongolian culture enriches our metal and jewelry design programs through traditional craftsmanship and modern technologies. New Opera Dimensions worked with Rome's Pablo Picasso Art High School in Anzio and the Ettore Majoran Foundation's International School of Musical Sciences in Gudonia. Students presented exhibitions and audio-visual works on Mongolian history, music, and cinematography. Under the guidance of instructors and directors, they helped document the event and supported fundraising efforts for women affected by domestic violence and mental health issues. Through this initiative, Mongolian culture is gaining wider recognition in Italy, fostering deeper cultural understanding and artistic collaboration. Here are the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. During a Security Council meeting on Monday, Assistant Secretary General for the Middle East, Asia, and the Pacific described the humanitarian situation in Gaza as unbearable, citing extreme suffering and brutality across the region. Mahid Bamia, representing the State of Palestine, rejected any justification for what he called genocide. He challenged the relevance of the two-state solution and accused Israel of refusing to recognize Palestinian statehood. According to him, the situation now presents only three remaining paths: genocide, ethnic cleansing, apartheid, or a combination of all three.
The level of suffering and brutality in Gaza is unbearable. The continued collective punishment of the Palestinian people is unjustifiable. We remain deeply concerned by Israeli military operations in Gaza that render large areas of Gaza uninhabitable. We reject the forced displacement of the Palestinian population from any part of the occupied Palestinian territory, which would constitute a breach of international law obligations. We mourn the United Nations personnel killed in Gaza and strongly condemn the killing of all health and humanitarian personnel and journalists. We strongly condemn the loss of lives and injuries of Palestinians seeking aid in Gaza, and we call for an immediate and independent investigation into these events and for perpetrators to be held accountable. The United Nations will not participate in any aid delivery modality that does not comply with the fundamental humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, independence, and neutrality.
We reject the idea that there is a right to slaughter Palestinians. That was our position from day one. This is day 632, and the slaughter is ongoing. There is nothing that can justify a genocide.
We don't want to destroy the Palestinian people. We are not fighting the Palestinian people. We are fighting Hamas, the terrorist organization who brought you to where you are today. So if you claim that you represent the Palestinian people, be responsible, be brave, and agree with me today that the future of Gaza will not include Hamas. Good morning. The UN is putting politics over humanitarian work. Many in the UN are actively spreading disinformation promoted by Hamas-controlled sources, defaming the GHF's work and providing cover for further attacks. This is a campaign, an organized, orchestrated campaign.
Israel's permanent representative drew a line between Hamas and the Palestinian people, framing Israel's actions as a fight against a terrorist group. He condemned the United Nations for prioritizing politics over humanitarian action and accused various UN members of spreading disinformation sourced from Hamas-controlled outlets. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.